Hi everyone, bonjour and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be all about how I dress sophisticated. These are just the rules, tips and guidelines that I have made up for myself that I like to follow. Of course, your definition of what looks sophisticated might be different from mine, in which case, of course, feel free to disregard any tip that does not resonate with you. If you're here for the first time, hello, I am Naja and this is my channel where I talk about style and beauty from a minimalist perspective. So if that is your thing, you've come to the right place. As for my definition of looking sophisticated or what that means to me, I think in general what it comes down to is looking authentic and put together. I think there's a lot of videos that talk about how to look sophisticated and it's just sort of the pieces they throw together that looks nice. But I think sort of the foundation of looking sophisticated is to develop a strong personal style so that you're a little bit more sure of your taste. So you don't get caught up in usually just buying what is trendy and will only look nice for a short time being. The number one thing I like to keep in mind to dress more sophisticated is to wear more unique jewelry. This of course goes directly into my point that looking sophisticated has a lot to do with looking authentic. I think a lot of us can get caught up in buying either trendy jewelry or buy something like a circle or a stick on a chain because it's just sort of like the easy way out and we know it's gonna look simple and kind of pretty. But as a general rule of thumb, I think if you wear a stick on a necklace, it doesn't really say a lot about your personal taste or identify anything about you. And I think that's really a shame since jewelry is really a place where you get to wear more unique pieces and experiment a little bit more and wear whatever you want without it kind of taking over your entire look. So for that reason, I'm really trying to get into wearing more authentic and unique pieces for myself and my jewelry, even if most of it stays kind of dainty. And that definitely doesn't mean you have to wear something show-stopping or huge. Most of my jewelry is really dainty. It's just very unique to me. The next rule of thumb that I like to follow to keep a sophisticated look myself is not to get anything branded with a branded pattern. Here I'm definitely thinking more about luxury branded items, which I don't have a lot of, but the pieces that I have don't have a loud pattern. I think if you buy something like, for example, a Louis Vuitton bag or a Gucci bag and it has the print all over, the bag will sort of just have its own thing going on and it will sort of look a little bit branded or like a billboard on you, rather than fitting in with your personal style and say anything about why you picked it. There's a rule to every exception because I do feel like if you buy a bright yellow Louis Vuitton bag, there's definitely going to be something unique about that, even if it does have the branded logo all over it. But as a general rule of thumb, these very classic looking bags that you will be able to find on everyone and their mother aren't necessarily going to be the most sophisticated choice. Now I am a minimalist, so I do not have a lot of stuff and I have two bags. My purse is Alexander Wang and my work bag is Hermes. So both from designer brands, but none of them are screaming in your face where they're from, and unless you know, you won't know. I think personal style is of course about what you like to wear, but to a certain degree it's just also going to be about what you are signaling to someone else and who you're trying to signal to. One thing I like about both of my bags is that it's a little secret between me and whoever else knows this style of bag, where it's coming from, and to anyone else it's not going to be screaming Hermes in their face, which I think can very quickly be sort of tacky. Along the same lines, and this was actually a friend who voiced this opinion to me, but I kind of picked it up and just agree with her right away, and it is that if you are wearing something branded or something very easily recognizable like a classic Chanel bag or whatever else it might be, for a look or just for your wardrobe in general, try to stick to only a few brands. Nothing says I'm just showing off my money more than wearing a Chanel bag, a Prada hat, and then recognizable Gucci shoes. I think it can be more sophisticated if you pick out the few luxury brands that you like and then stick to buying only from them. At the very least, the recognizable or branded stuff. Of course, now we're just talking about brands because this is sort of what the tip is about for myself. But like I said, with my bags, if you don't know where they're from, I mean, you just won't know. I certainly didn't know actually before I almost got either bag. And it just means that you definitely do not need a luxury designer bag to get something that is really tasteful and well made. And when you get something that isn't branded or doesn't look branded, you're more free to pick something that is more unique to your taste, and it's just gonna help shape your overall style. The next rule that I like to follow to look more sophisticated, and please don't crucify me for this, it's just my opinion for my own wardrobe. Actually, I don't necessarily think this rule fits everyone, but it is that a button-up shirt or a blouse is always more sophisticated than a t-shirt, and a knitted fitted sweater is always more sophisticated than a sweatshirt. I definitely think that you can dress up a t-shirt to look sophisticated, but I don't think it looks sophisticated on its own. And I much prefer a button-up shirt or a blouse, or, you know, a knitted sweater, so that is what I stick to. On the other end of that spectrum, I don't think it's possible to look sophisticated at all in a sweatshirt. I think it's possible to look very trendy and chic, but I don't think there's anything sophisticated about a sweatshirt, so I just do not own them. The next thing I keep in mind to look sophisticated on a day-to-day basis is my shoes. If you want to look and signal I'm really sophisticated and look elevated, a sneaker is just not gonna cut it. I'm sorry to say it. Again, there is absolutely nothing wrong with a sneaker. I also own sneakers myself, and I do also wear them, but on days where I want to look sophisticated, I just won't pick a sneaker. If you take the same really nice polished outfits side by side, the one you put a sneaker on is just not gonna look nearly as sophisticated and elevated as the one where you're wearing, for example, a nice boot or a loafer. Again, this doesn't mean that a sneaker can't look good. It can definitely look quite chic and trendy and all other sorts of very positive buzzwords, but going for sophisticated, it's just not gonna cut it. The next thing that I like to keep in mind when I'm getting dressed to look sophisticated is to pay attention to fabrics and how your stuff is made. It did take me quite a while into my journey to sort of really get this and see it, but if you get yourself a really nice long coat from a fast fashion brand, for example, I've come to form the opinion that it doesn't really matter how good that looks. If there, for example, is no lining in it, it's just not gonna look very elevated. If the piece of clothing you're wearing is giving away that it's ill-made, that's just gonna take away from your entire look. I do still have some fast fashion pieces around from not buying fast fashion, because why would I get rid of them when they're in okay condition? But I find myself not even grabbing for it. One of them is this black blazer from Zara, and I do actually really like the shape. I think Zara makes some really beautiful blazers, but the fabric is just a little bit fuzzy and it starts creasing a little bit in a way that a truly well-made garment would have never done. And just in general, when seams start running and fabric starts creasing and the fabric starts pilling, it's just gonna take away from your look. And absolutely, this can also happen with high-end pieces. If you have something from a high-end brand that, like a coat for example, that pills really badly, that is also going to take away from the sophistication of your look. But in general, this is definitely something that happens more with not so well-made garments. The next thing that I always keep in mind to look more sophisticated, and this is something I follow on a day-to-day basis, it is not a style tip, it is a beauty tip, but it is to always keep your lips defined and healthy looking. Of course, today I'm wearing red lips, which I also think is very sophisticated, but it's not really the point. On a day-to-day basis, I always wear a lip liner in my own lip color and a little bit of gloss on top of it. It's going to look very neutral, but just like defining the lip is just gonna look so, in my opinion, sophisticated and put together. But even if that is too much for you and it's not the look for you, just wearing something like a chapstick to just give your lips some gloss and some health back is going to completely lift your look and make you look more sophisticated as well. If you like this video, as always, please give it a thumbs up so that I know, but also because it really does help out my small channel. And if you're still here and not already subscribed, then consider doing so, because in that case I would love to keep you around. Thanks for watching and farewell!